Welcome to Discovery! Roll the intro, please. Welcome to Discovery! We got a huge discovery this week with the likes of Vorga, Venom Prison, Korn. That's right, we're exploring some new metal, some black metal, some progressive metal, some doom metal. Now before I start, pop your favorite discoveries down below. We're just talking about all new releases this discovery. One more thing, the scores. As per normal, the scores have not changed in this year's discovery. The score will be from 0 to 100%, whereby 0% is fucking dog shit. Let's hope we never have to score an album so low, and 100% is the best ever masterpiece. During the scores, we will discuss why I like and why I don't like the album, and a few dot points why this album is good and bad. So let's get on with this brand new discovery. First up on the chopping block is an album that was released this week. The band we're talking about is The Final Sleep, and the album The Vessels of Grief. This album is fantastic. Now, in case you don't know, The Final Sleep are from Troy, New York in the United States of America. They have explored their sound even more from the album I. Vessels of Grief really summons in that doom metal aesthetic, but they also play around with progressive metal. If you like progressive doom, elements of death doom, you're gonna really fucking well enjoy this, with some incredible production, amazing guitar melodies as well, and not to mention the vocals are very harsh and aggressive and guttural at times, but you get some really nice cleaner vocals as well. There's some really good guitar riffs, some really awesome guitar solos as well. Until It Ends is such a great song. Screaming in Silence has sort of these chorish vocals, especially that chorus, but it is very catchy. Like the vocals, the clean vocals aren't that polished. It also has that raw underbelly to this. The Final Sleep, Vessels of Grief, plays around with so many different genres. I would call this progressive melodic death doom because there are some amazing melodies on this, but Screaming in Silence is a very interesting way to kick off the album because it's a ballsy move in my opinion. It's because the vocals at times can be a little bit jarring, and there are less death doom elements on Screaming in Silence with some cleaner vocals, which is on the borderline of some metalcore-ish stuff. So they really do experiment on this LP. But Until It Ends, really aggressive way for the second song to kick off the album. So In Between is so good. Funeral Seat has an amazing melody that does get stuck in your head, and Eternal is a great way to end off the album. So overall, Vessels of Grief, The Final Sleep is a fantastic LP. Will definitely make into my best metal albums of February, no doubt. Elements of death doom, elements of melodic death metal, and also some really great progressive metal. It's just a concoction of all sorts of genres within this album. Drum roll please. The Final Sleep, Vessels of Grief, I'm giving it a 80%. Moving on. Next up is some spacey cosmic black metal. We're talking about Vorga and a debut album, Striving Toward Oblivion. This album is absolutely fantastic, it really is. I love the melodies, I love the riffs, and not to mention some great interesting solos as well. It's very cosmic, spacey, black metal, and it takes you on a journey, it really does. Songs like Starless Skies with incredible riffs, along with Comet, The Scar Stars, My Destination. The vocals have that really shrieky tone, which I absolutely love. Production is phenomenal on this, and it's just a great album overall. This is by far one of my favorite black metal albums of the year. We're already in February, can you believe it? This was released on February 4th, 2022, and holy shit, this album packs a punch. There are elements of black and roll on this, which really is surprising. There is, especially through Fool's Paradise, Taken, and Death Manifesting has this black and roll underbelly to it, and I love the flourishing guitar moments, and the drumming is absolutely spectacular with some incredible transitional blast beats that just blows your fucking head off, that's for sure. It's just a great ride. The entire is cosmic black metal with the ways of the fucking song titles, Our Star, The Sky, Comet, Disgust, and it just feels like you're traveling in this spacey journey beyond to the next fucking galaxy. I absolutely adore this album from start to finish. Yes, there are some great synth melodies that really creep into the mix. Guitar tone has this really spacey effect. I'd say Quest for Metal would absolutely adore this album. If he hasn't checked it already, he should definitely check out Vorga, Striving Toward Oblivion. In fact, I think I did actually hit him up and say, hey, you gotta check out Vorga. Check out Vorga, you're gonna fucking wanna love it. But yeah, Vorga, Striving Toward Oblivion is a very different black metal album because it has these black and roll aesthetics. They've got those really fast-paced guitar moments, the galloping drums as well, which really impact the listener's attention, and I absolutely love it. Really do. Production's phenomenal. Drum roll, please. Vorga, Striving Toward Oblivion. I'm giving this an 88%. Moving on. Okay, so let's move on to the next band. We're talking about Venom Prison and the album Erebos. Now, a lot of people are loving this album, and good on them. This band hails from the UK, and yeah, they're really changing the death metal scene as well, and drawing in more people. Erebos is a very interesting album overall. Running about 49 minutes, it does explore different technical aspects for death metal. Although this is an album that I am struggling to get into, unfortunately, I feel that if I warrant a few more listens, like it's a good album overall. Larissa Stupa, who is the vocalist, amazing vocalist. Her vocals are fantastic. Love her aggressive gutturals. There is just so much happening on this, and there's so many ideas thrown into this album, but I feel like a lot of it isn't executed that well. It's a good LP overall, but I just feel like there are a few flaws on this. Like, she does really experiment with her vocals as well, sounding a bit chorish at times. A few breakdowns are thrown within this album, which questions whether this is death metal or not. But of course you get some really awesome death metal riffs, some really great arpeggio moments, some great solos, and just thunderous drumming as well. Some of this is quite overbloated for a death metal album. There are just some songs that could have been cut a little bit, because the instrumentals are absolutely fantastic, the vocals are really good, and there's really nothing much I can complain about this except that it lacks some replay value, and that's my honest opinion, that this album does lack some replay value. It's probably just me, it's not you, fucking Seinfeld reference. But yeah, I just feel that Venom Prison Erebos is a grower of an album. So drum roll please for Venom Prison Erebos. I'm going to give this a 70% at the moment. It's a good album overall, some great guitar riffs, some really thunderous percussion, and production's phenomenal on this, but yeah, it lacks some replay value. Moving on, next up is a Scandinavian dark metal band, you could say. Don't know what their genre is, to be honest, because holy shit, they play around with so many different genres, from grindcore to doom metal to melodic death to fucking black metal as well. We're talking about Mass Worship and the album Portal Tomb. This album takes you on a fucking journey. The amazing guitar riffs you are getting, they're just aggressive demonic vocals as well, and not to mention some really chugginess genty riffs on this that really create this polyrhythmic momentum throughout this album. This is great. If you like bands such as Ulcerate, even like a Gorgutsy, even like Gorguts Obscura, even like Imperial Triumphant, also Hideous, or even fucking Noisium, you're probably going to enjoy this because this plays around with just so many genres. It really does, from progressive to death to doom to black to even heavy metal, you could say. It's great. Like Unholy Mass has an incredible guitar solo that will just make your mouth water. And not to mention the thunderous percussion the production's absolutely phenomenal. The Scandinavian multi-genre extreme metal band just drills holes in your head. I have spun this album a few times now. I've probably about 4 or 5 times, and yeah, I cannot stop listening to it. Especially the tone of the guitar, which really entices me to listen to it more. Just overall production is just fantastic on this, and just the vocal work is just in your face, and it's got the vocals sound more deaf, you could say, than black. But yeah, the vocals are just really empowering on this, and I absolutely fucking love it. This is a very atmospheric, just evil sounding fucking album. It really is. It's on the borderline of the album Death Cult of Soil Unborn. I mentioned in the best metal albums of January. It's got a sort of that underbelly tone, but yeah, this is a very different, because it certainly does at times sound like a Now Nafrak for sure, and it's got that really interesting production and has sort of an industrialized feel, but they also play with doom metal. I don't really know. It's also got a sludgy tone. It's also got that sludgy guitar which you get from sludge. But yeah, definitely check out Mass Worship, Portal Tombs. Drum roll please for Portal Tombs Mass Worship. It's getting an 83%. Moving on. Next up is a Mare Cognitum side project, you could say. Jacob, none other himself, stars on vocals. We're talking about Det Eviga Leendet and the album Reverence. So what can I say about this album? Now, Jacob's vocals are absolutely fucking fantastic on this. Really got that harsh, aggressive black metal undertone on this album, and the tremolo picking is absolutely amazing. They do play around with a lot of genres as well, very similar to Mass Worship, sounding at times like a bit of post-metal, a bit of hardcore elements, just so many different moments. Love the beautiful passages throughout songs like Bloom, Visage, Wretch, really encapsulate the listener. Got songs like Regret and Yield, which is a fucking great way to end off the album, which is like fucking 11 minutes, but holy shit, it takes you on a journey. Production is fantastic on this. Jacob's vocals sound like something out of a Mare Cognitum album. This is so damn good. You could easily put this as a Mare Cognitum album just because of the overall, it sounds a lot like Mare Cognitum, especially the overall atmosphere, the overall production. I believe the rest of the band acts anonymous, so only Jacob is known for Det Eviga Leendet. But yeah, this album's fantastic, it really is. It packs a punch. It's one of the best black metal albums of January. This was released later in January, and I kind of wish I actually put it on my list now, but yeah, just great. Really great black metal. Check it out. Drum roll please. So for Det Eviga Leendet, Reverence, I'm going to give this a solid 87%. Moving on to the next black metal album that I discovered this week, which was released on the February 1st, 2022 through independently. We're talking about Eldritch, I Shall Raise My Burning Sword, their debut album. holy shit, this album is fantastic. If you like dark fantasy, if you like dark introspective themes, you're gonna fucking well love this. This is just fantastic. It really is, just with the overall songwriting, the reduction, and not to mention the vocals. This is sort of like war metal, you could say. You can tell they've been inspired by so many bands out there. Very melodic in tone. Like at times they do sound like Lord Belial, at times they do sound like a bit like Dark Throne, even Dark Funeral, and even got that Bathory inspiration. And I love how there's a bit of Burzum on this. Like you tell they've been inspired by Burzum, especially the guitar melody, especially the overall production. It's just fantastic, and it just takes you on a ride. This is one of the best melodic black metal albums of the year. It's atmospheric in tone, and I do love the little talking inserts on this, which just really escalates this album next level. Songs like I Shall Raise My Burning Sword, the self-titled track, is so damn epic and in your face. Harken Calling of the Night Sky, what a way to sort of end off the album as well with Decrypt. Ending off with an instrumental is so damn good. Some amazing guitar work on this, some very impactful, in-your-face drumming. Eldritch, I Shall Raise My Burning Sword. I will talk to you a lot about this album throughout this month as well. It's, drum roll please, for Eldritch, I Shall Raise My Burning Sword. It's going to get an 80%. Moving on. Okay, so a lot of people have clicked on Discovery to find out my views on Korn. As some of you know, I do enjoy Korn. I love most of their albums. There are a few albums that are hit and miss for me, but Korn were one of my first metal bands to get into. Now, they are, in my opinion, the pioneers of new metal. They have an amazing self-titled album, which had amazing songs like Helm in the Bush, Blind, Clown, and even Daddy. Such a disturbing song. But they really did change their sound throughout their years, becoming more heavy throughout Take a Look in the Mirror, becoming more electronic and weird throughout See on the Other Side, and then becoming total batshit, what the fuck is this, throughout Path of Totality, but really going back to the sound once Head came back. Korn nowadays sounds very heavy, especially throughout Serenity of Suffering, and sounded fantastic throughout The Nothing. And The Nothing has really grown on me so much. So today we're talking about their brand new album, Requiem. This album is okay, it really is. Now, to me, I feel like this is Korn's second weakest album, along with Path of Totality and See You on the Other Side. Okay, it's their third weakest album. It's an okay album, I guess, but I just feel like this album was a little bit rushed by Korn. Now, this is Korn's shortest album, running around about 33 minutes, and there's nothing really to rave on about this album. I love Korn, but I just feel like they did rush this. I feel like they wanted to get something out. This is probably the most happiest Korn has ever sounded. Where are the dark instrumentals that Korn usually have? Where is Fieldy's just really heavy bass, and where is Head's just dark guitar melodies that do get stuck in your head, like The Nothing with songs like Cold. Hello, Cold was such an awesome song. This is just an autopilot Korn album. It's an okay album. Now, I know Jonathan Davis is in a very good place now, and the lyrics are quite positive on this. But to me, this is probably the most happiest sounding Korn album. Songs like Start to Healing, Forgotten, Let the Dark Do the Rest, Penance to Sorrow. Now, what I do have to commend them is the fucking overlaid and doomy riffs throughout Hopeless and Beaten. He does incorporate harsher vocals on this, except you don't get those really dark and evil vocals throughout this album. Yes, it's an okay album by Korn. It's not the worst album. It's not their best album. It's probably one of the weakest albums in my opinion, but it just takes a stance. It really does. And for Korn and Requiem, I wanted to hear something a little bit different. Well, certainly I did hear some really happy sort of melodies on this, and it's quite a happy sort of album. It's not as dark as a Korn album. But yeah, for Korn Requiem, drum roll please, I'm going to give this a 60%. Moving on. Okay, so next up is Carpe Diem by Saxon. Now, Saxon are a fantastic heavy metal band. The fucking battery's dying, the fucking memory's dying as well. So I'm going to give you a quick review for Carpe Diem by Saxon. I'm going to say this is my favorite album in February at the moment. It is so damn good, it is so damn fast, and it's so damn furious with some incredible melodies that do get stuck in your head. Songs like Carpe Diem, The Pilgrimage, hello to fucking awesome guitar riff in The Pilgrimage. The Pilgrimage, so damn good. I love songs like Supernova, which sounds like Judas Priest, Lady in Grey, Black is the Night, and Living on the Limit to end off the album. The guitar work is amazing. You get some amazing solos on this. I love all their albums. I fucking love Saxon. Saxon become one of my favorite heavy metal bands. Carpe Diem is amazing, and Carpe Diem, the fucking song, the self-titled album, is incredible. Remember the Falling, so damn good. The guitar solos, the drumming, the vocals are amazing. And yeah, I'll be talking about Saxon a lot throughout this month, and maybe I'll do an album ranking later on this month. I don't know, comment below if you want to see an album ranking. But yeah, for Carpe Diem by Saxon, drum roll please, I'm going to give this a solid 93%. So yeah, that's it for Discovery. I hope you did enjoy Discovery for this week. I do apologize for the rush, but I really want to get this edited and out to have an uploaded for 8 days. So yeah, let me know in the comments below your favorite discoveries for this week. Let me know what you've discovered as well. Keep discussion going in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.